Welcome to another stream. Really dark in here for just a second. I'm going to send out some notifications, then we'll brighten it up around here. Let's see who's going to get first in chat tonight. We are live. There we go. Okay, get some light in here. Let's see who's going to get first in chat while I pull up comments. Hope everyone's having a good day, a good night. All right, comments. There we go. Get those comments pulled up. Send out our notifications. we've had killer streams these past 2 days. Absolutely amazing streams these past few days. So we're gonna try to follow that up with a great stream tonight. We're gonna try to keep that same energy going, man. We're just gonna try to keep things rolling around here. First in chat, meow. Hello, meow. If that's cat for hello. Truth, what is up? Truth second in chat tonight. What is up, Truth? Welcome. Are you guys getting used to the fact that we're doing these later streams now? Because I have officially and completely screwed my sleep schedule, man. I did not wake up today until about, what time was it? 6 p.m. So I don't know how long it's going to take to fix that. You might want to go ahead and get used to these later streams. Hola, hello. Hello. What's up, PJ? shows you how old this headset's getting. Half the time this just falls down on its own now. I can't get a charger to really stick in there, so the old headset may be on its way to retirement here soon. We'll see. Slow Jam, what's up? New York Giant, what's up? What's up, guys? Welcome. We'll give it another minute or two, let some people get in here who want to watch us live, and then we'll get started on the point of tonight's stream. Tonight we're going to be talking about anxiety recovery, the false alarm, and how your brain learns. Right. So we're going to talk about that false alarm. Yesterday, we talked about how you can't reason your way out of being triggered. Drop the worry. Your brain's not listening. Your brain wants to see you triggered, and then it wants to see you accept by living your life instead of trying to fight with everything up here, which accomplishes nothing, because that's not how the brain learns. You can't reason your way out of being triggered. You have to show your brain that you're not triggered, right, by living your life while you are. So we're going to talk more tonight about the actual false alarm itself, right? So we covered yesterday, and if you missed yesterday's stream, I highly recommend you go back and check that out. But we're going to cover tonight more about the false alarm itself, what it really feels like. Of course, symptoms can vary from person to person, but we're going to talk about how strong that false alarm can be, right? We're going to talk about how strong that false alarm can be, and that way you guys don't think, oh, it sounds so easy. He makes it sound like it's so easy. Now I'm going to level with you tonight. And I'm going to make you realize that, yes, I understand that false alarm is intense. Yes, I get that. But whether it's intense or not, the rules of the game do not change. What's up, Bunny? What's up, Brian? Welcome. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and let's see how many people we got in chat. I think we can go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and get rolling. So the false alarm and how your brain learns. Like I said, if you did not see yesterday's stream, I recommend you check it out. Of course, it's nothing new, but we do talk about how you can't reason your way out of being triggered. You must live your way out of being triggered. So that false alarm, man, it can be intense. And I get that, and I completely understand that. It can be through the roof sometimes. And whether you know on an intellectual level or not, we talked about this yesterday as well, whether you know on an intellectual level or not that these triggers, whether they be intrusive thoughts or situations or whatever the case may be, even if you know they're irrational, you're still triggered, right? Again, that comes back to the point that you can't reason your way out of this. You have to prove to the brain that there is no real danger. So that false alarm is going off. You know that it's irrational. You know that it's over-exaggerated. You know all that, but that false alarm is still going off, and it can be intense. Why is it so intense? It's intense because it is your brain's job, right? It is anxiety's job to protect you from this danger. Now, there is no real danger, but we have to prove that. So in order to get you fighting or fleeing or trying to protect yourself, the brain has to make it intense. It has to make it an intense experience, or else it would not do a very good job at getting you fighting or fleeing. So that explains why it can be so intense. The symptoms can be through the roof. You can be experiencing all sort of different feelings, and it really just makes you feel like you got to do something. And that's how it's supposed to feel like, right? What kind of protection mechanism would it be if it did not make you feel like you need to do something? Right? It would be a pretty lame and pretty sorry excuse for a protection mechanism if it did not grab your attention. So, false alarm goes off, whether it be over an intrusive thought that you know is silly on an intellectual level, or a situation where you know you shouldn't feel this extreme. Whatever the case may be, the false alarm goes off. The false alarm must be intense. That is its job. So the intensity is through the roof, right? But as we said yesterday, you do not try to reason your way out of that. You have to show your brain through experience that it is not a real danger, that there is nothing to be concerned about. See, people get locked up and confused because they try to reason. They try to use their mind, their intellect to try to reason their way out of it. They are not speaking the brain's language. So the false alarm is there. The false alarm is very intense. It's supposed to be, and it's up to you to decide whether you want to do A or B. A, remind yourself this is supposed to be intense. I know the truth. I know this is irrational, but I got to show that to my brain. I can't tell that to my brain, not listening. I got to show it. How do you show it? By getting on and having a productive day anyway while you're triggered. So you drop the trying to reason. That's what we mean in the two main keys when we say stop fighting with your thoughts and feelings. You drop the trying to reason, and you make your focus just reminding yourself that there's no point in trying to reason. It's not how the brain learns. So that removes the fighting with the thoughts and feelings, because now you know it's pointless, and you focus on what does matter, aka living your life. And that's why the two main keys are what they are. So yes, the false alarm is there, and yes, it can be very intense, but your job is to not try to reason with it, but rather live through it. Show your brain by getting on with your life, not resorting to so many coping methods, not resorting to so many compulsions, doing what you want to do even though you feel like crud. Show your brain through pure experience that the danger is not real. Now you're speaking the brain's language, right? So false alarm, very intense. It's supposed to be intense. That is its job. And then it pulls up a chair and it watches you, right? We read from one of my favorite blog posts the other night where it said, anytime you get this surge of anxiety, right? Your brain is watching. If it sees you, I think some of the examples it gave was if it sees you running, hiding, asking for help, reading about your condition, getting on Dr. Google, if it sees you doing any of these things to try to fight these thoughts and feelings, we do consider that a compulsion, and the brain says, hey, this false alarm must be justified, right? And that's why it never learns. So again, you can't reason your way out of it. You got to show your way out of it. You got to prove your way out of it. That means getting on with life. That means stop fighting with the thoughts and feelings. Just have a productive day. Even though I know you don't necessarily feel like that, because again, false alarm is very intense. That's why it's an alarm. It's supposed to be intense. It's doing its job. So we see it happen all the time. People try to use their intellect to overcome this thing, and you just can't reason with anxiety. It's not there to be reasoned with. It's not, it's very robotic in that way. It's not something you reason with. It's not another person that you pull up a chair and have a conversation with, right? You cannot reason your way out of it. You have to prove your way out of it by living. So people are trying to retrain their brains using the wrong tactic. They're trying to use the intellect rather than with behaviors, which is how the brain really does learn. So people get in a cycle. Worry, worry, worry. Try to solve. Try to use my intellect against these thoughts and feelings. Try to solve and problem solve, and which is just hitting the alarm over and over. They're not speaking the brain's language. It'll never work that way. The brain does not learn through you telling it. The brain learns through you showing it. So think of it this way. The person who stays in bed most of the day on Dr. Google and trying to reason with all of their thoughts and problem solve against all of their triggers is making little to no progress as compared to the person who gets straight up out of bed and tries to have a productive day even though they feel like crud. Because the person who gets out of bed and tries to have a productive day even though they feel like crud, they are speaking the brain's language. They're not trying to problem solve. They're just getting on with life. This is the behaviors that the brain wants to see. It does not care about your logic. It'll never care about your logic. It doesn't want to hear it, and it does not take it into consideration, right? Now, this is a good reason as to why reassurance, for example, does not work for very long, right? Because you're not speaking the brain's language. So just a little example there of the two types of people. Who's going to make more progress? It's obviously going to be the person who stops trying to solve and just says to themselves, okay, I know I'm triggered. I know this is irrational, but now I got to prove it. How? Have a productive day. I don't mean you have to pack your day full of things. I don't mean you can never lay down and rest again, but you've got to get back into living. While you're triggered, you cannot resort to those coping methods and compulsions and laying in bed and doing all this and that. You've got to start speaking the brain's language, right? The only way that it understands. So again, just a little, quick reminder stream just to kind of keep you guys on track with the two main keys. Stop fighting with your thoughts and feelings. Just remind yourself, yes, I'm triggered. Yes, I know it's irrational, but it's time to have a productive day anyway, right? And then you live your life. Two main keys right there. I like to have these streams where we pull everything together. We make it short, sweet, simple, and to the point, right? I like doing that in order to keep people on track. You're not going to think your way out of this thing. You've got to understand. You've got to believe me on this. You are not going to think your way out of this thing. That is not how the amygdala learns. The amygdala learns by you stop trying to solve and just get back to living while you're triggered, right? What happens if you're living and you start to notice that you're up in your head worrying about these thoughts and feelings again? You simply remind yourself. We call it accepting reminders. You simply remind yourself, I know this is irrational, but now I got to prove it. Wonder Bro said there's nothing to solve. I just have to prove that it's irrational by living my life. See, that's what we call an accepting reminder. It's a reminder to stay on track with the correct advice. Right? So this is how you're going to end the cycle. This is how you're going to start to heal. This is how you're going to start to retrain your brain. Now, I'm going to make an obvious statement, a very obvious statement, but one that needs to be made, in my opinion. This advice, right, everything that you just heard will break you out of the cycle, will heal your nerves, will retrain your brain, but if you're not using it, it will not. It will not, it will not, it will not. So somebody in chat says, well, my days don't require me to do much. We just finished saying that you do not have to pack your days full of things. You just have to stop using your coping methods and compulsions. So while you're triggered, let's say you're triggered and normally you run to bed. Okay, well, we got to stop that. Period. Bottom line. Let's say you're triggered and normally you pick up the phone and call your friend and talk about how bad your anxiety is. We got to stop that. Period. We got to stop any sort of compulsions that are meant to try to fight the anxiety away. You got to do what you want to do, right? So you can have a day that doesn't require you to do much. Doesn't mean that you can't drop your compulsions, can't drop your coping methods, can't start to move in a different way. Right? If every time you're anxious, you run to the bathroom and cry in the corner, we've got to stop this. If every time you're anxious, you do this, you do that, whatever the case may be, everybody's different, we've got to stop that. We've got to start using behaviors that are in line with a person who is not in danger, because you're not, but you've got to prove that to the brain. So again, it's not about having to pack your days full of things and be this person who climbs Mount Everest. It's about being a person who behaves in line with someone who is not in danger. Let's say that every single day you're very quiet and to yourself. You don't partake in conversations that are going on around you. This is just an example. Maybe it's time to start speaking up, right? Because a person who is not being hunted by a tiger would not be in bed staying very quiet while everyone else is having a social gathering in the living room. You see what we're getting at? So it's, you all live very different lives, right? But you gotta, and I can't break it down for each one of your individual lives myself. You gotta look in the mirror and ask yourself that question. When I'm anxious, what am I doing? What kind of coping methods am I using? What kind of compulsions? Do I start to get very quiet and withdrawn? Do I run to bed? Do I run to the same corner? Do I use Dr. Google still? You gotta ask yourself these questions, right? I don't know what your life consists of. I don't know what your coping methods are, your compulsions are. I don't know how you act and behave while you're triggered. So it is your responsibility to get honest with yourself and ask yourself, what do I do while I'm anxious? Is there anything that I'm doing to try to fight the anxiety? Is there anything I'm doing because anxiety is making me do it, right? You got to ask yourself these questions. So again, it's not about trying to problem solve your way out of it, because the brain's not listening to your logic. It doesn't care about your logic, and that's why reassurance doesn't work. It's all about stop fighting with those thoughts and feelings. Remind yourself, I know this is irrational. Now I have to prove it. How? By just making choices that are in line with a person who's not in danger, right? Now, whatever that may be, You got to figure that out yourself. What are your compulsions? What are your coping methods, right? So just to bring this stream back in, I know the false alarm is intense. It's supposed to be. That's its job, to get your attention. What you do with it, whether you're trying to problem solve your way out of it or whether you're just saying to yourself, I know this is irrational, time to prove it, and then going and having a productive day, that's your choice. We got to get honest with ourselves. We got to motivate ourselves, and you got to decide for yourself, right? The new way that you want to move. If you want a new life, you got to move differently. So with all that being said, man, like we always say, I hope you enjoyed it, guys, but most importantly, I hope you use it, because that's what's most important here, all right? We're going to head on over to post-stream. If you did enjoy the topic of tonight's stream, make sure you leave a big thumbs up. It really does help me out. Let's Okay, well, I had the wrong input selected. I apologize. I apologize. I had the old mic input selected, so I've been rattling on for at least a good 20 seconds, and nobody heard anything I said. We're going to get some music going. Ooh, that's loud. That is loud. How is everybody doing tonight? I apologize for that. How you doing, Sherry? Hope you're doing well. Doing well, just cold and snowing again. It is 24 degrees here tonight, so I understand completely. And it's supposed to only get colder. It's supposed to only get colder. One of my interesting experiences face-to-face in interpersonal communication, I start to zone out and feel disconnected, then feel anxious, but I'm implementing the advice best I can. Absolutely. So you're not describing anything uncommon right there. You're not describing anything uncommon. I think anybody who's been there or is currently there has felt exactly what you're describing. I know I did. I know I did. Been letting my feelings be there and saying simply, okay, the temptation is there to solve, for example. I had a setback about questioning my feelings because I'm very mildly sensitized. So the temptation to solve, of course, can be intense. But here's the thing, like we talked about tonight and yesterday's stream, excellent stream. We talked about how you can't reason your way out of this. You can't. Your brain doesn't care about your logic. So let's say, for example, you're triggered over something and you get up there and you try to force that logic, that reasoning, that problem solving. Brain could care less. Brain does not hear your logic. There are no pathways available from your logic, your prefrontal cortex, to your limbic system that's going to say, okay, I figured it out. You can stop the alarm now. Those pathways don't exist, like physically, literally. They don't exist. So not only are you wasting your time by trying to reason with your trigger, you're not experiencing the experience. You're not teaching the brain in the only way it learns, which is living. Just leaving the thoughts and feelings alone, saying, okay, I'm triggered, and then living your life, right, through behaviors. That is how the brain learns. So not only is trying to problem solve a huge waste of time, but it's also not how the brain learns. So you're not making any progress when you try to do that. Very stressful, too, as you all know. Very stressful. about that here now. It's supposed to be 14. Yeah, there was talk of like single digits. There was talk of like single digits here, so we'll see what happens. We're under some advisories, so we will see, man. We'll see. I guess I don't really mind it. I don't know. I mean, I don't really care for it. I don't hate it. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. Not a huge deal, I guess, but definitely not fun. I had some hard to hear feedback this morning about the perception of me when I was in a management position. I do feel emotionally vulnerable about it, not gonna lie. Well, sometimes your emotions can be high when you're in a sensitized state. You can't really control the way that you feel, especially when you're in a sensitized state. So you might hear something somebody said to you. If you're feeling sensitized, if you're feeling vulnerable, you might get some strong emotions that normally you probably wouldn't feel. Right? So it's important to kind of put things into reality. Okay, I've got a tired nervous system, whatever the case may be. We're not trying to problem solve anything. We're just stepping into reality and accepting reality for what it is, right? So you can see how that takes the pressure off your shoulders. You're not trying to problem solve why you feel the way that you do, right? You're not trying to change it. You're accepting it. You're accepting it for what it is. You're not going down any rabbit holes. What do we do about doubting our feelings, like having more trust? Because sometimes I can't tell what's real concern and what is. Not that there isn't improvement, but this is one of my stumbles. You can spend the rest of your life trying to make sure, well, was that what if thought a real concern or not? Here's the thing. When something is a real concern, you'll take the action. And then your mind says, yeah, but I don't know if it's a real concern. And you say, yeah, well, I can spend the rest of my life trying to figure out if that what if was a real concern, or I can take each day as its own. In this moment, I have a choice. Make myself absolutely miserable trying to problem solve my way out of this, or accept reality for what it is and find peace. Slowly begin to find peace. So you can never problem solve to the degree that you think you can, because your mind's always going to come up with another loophole anyway. Not only can you not reason yourself out of being triggered, because the brain doesn't learn that way, but also it's just going to find another loophole. You will never, ever, ever satisfy these what-if thoughts, because it's impossible. The loopholes are endless. You will never satisfy your mind's what-if thoughts. You may think you can, and you will try until the day that you die, but you never will. Some people say, Wonder Bro, why'd you put it like that? That's kind of spooky. It's true. It's true. And it's kind of liberating to hear it like that, because now you can stop trying to. You will never satisfy your mind in the what-if thoughts. There will always be another loophole. There will always be some room for doubt. We have to accept doubt. We have to accept uncertainty, because these things cannot be eliminated. They can make you suffer, right, if you choose to. But if you start to accept them for what they are, you can get used to them, right? You can get used to having doubt, having discomfort, right? But if you try to change them, that's an impossible task that you will never complete. Right? So the only way, since you can never get certainty and you can never get 100% certainty, the only way to not be miserable is accept the fact that you cannot get 100% certainty. Right? Started drinking wine, so weird my sensations decrease, and the ones I can still feel I don't give a shit about, I feel relaxed and sleepy, crazy. Yeah, alcohol will do that to you. I can't condone it. I can't say people start drinking alcohol in order to get your symptoms to go away. But what I can say is, there's nothing wrong with having a glass of wine from time to time. Of course, you should be using the advice. Let's not develop any very horrible coping methods. But yeah, absolutely. Drinking a glass of wine, of course, will make you feel relaxed. That's its job. But don't forget your job, right? Don't forget your job. Be using that advice. It can turn into a very terrible coping method. Let's not do that. Let's just have a glass of wine every now and then, right? But let's make sure you're using the fundamental advice. As long as you're doing that, there ain't no problem with having a glass of wine, I suppose. But make sure you are using that advice. What's up, Pootie? How you doing, dude? What you doing, Pootie? What you doing? No rabbit holes. Absolutely. Absolutely truth. No damn rabbit holes today. The other day, I just noticed there's no answer to everything. Just fuck it, live my life. But I think since I'm not sensitized anymore, my brain worked for me. So I was like, fuck. Hey, as you begin to desensitize, right? As you begin to desensitize, as you begin to heal your nerves, you'll notice that your brain, quote unquote, does start to work in your favor. You're starting to get triggered less and less, right? So enjoy it, and continue on with those two main keys. I still use the two main keys. Okay, as long as we're still using the two main keys. I just didn't want you to be like, okay, well, I found the cure to anxiety. Drink a bottle of red wine every day. Yeah, because that's going to turn nasty. I wanted to make sure we wasn't in one of those situations. But since you're just enjoying a glass of wine on a cozy evening, not a problem at all, my friend, as long as you're using those two keys any other time. I appreciate that, T. How you doing tonight? How you doing tonight? See, as you start to use those two main keys and heal your nerves and train your brain, Brian, you will get to the point where you are not so triggered anymore. You will get to the point where everything doesn't cause such a trigger anymore, but you got to put in that sweet, sweet good work. One second, guys. All right, sorry about that. Sanchez would be proud. My battery's at 69%. He would be. He would be very proud right now. Great. How are you, my friend? I'm doing good, T. I'm gonna have to grab my charger, man. Speaking of battery percentages, I'm gonna have to grab my charger. All right. We are good. We are good. We are plugged into the power. We are plugged in. All good, Brian. I'm here. Wonder Bro, what's up, Sanchez? How you doing, dude? We were just talking about you. We were just talking about you. How you doing, Sanchez? Hope you're having a good one. Chad's in the house, dude. Barbecuing some steaks tonight. Ooh, that sounds so good. That sounds so good, not gonna lie. Man, the bots are crazy tonight. What's the deal? What's the deal? Bots are crazy tonight. I wonder how my little friend's doing from yesterday who needed relationship advice. I wonder how that went for him. I'm curious. Maybe he'll pop in tonight at some point. I'm very curious. Can't wait for summer baseball games and beach. Absolutely, dude. We were just talking about how cold it is. It's 24 degrees here right now, and it's supposed to only get colder, so not necessarily looking forward to that. It is what it is, I guess. Out and about this morning, living your life. Living your life. Hey, I like the tunes. Reminds me of Miami Vice. Yeah, we're going with Synthwave tonight. I told Stream we'd pick something a little bit different, so this is what we landed on. Hey, I appreciate that, Brian. I'm glad you enjoyed the streams, dude. Yeah, he was, and I'm wondering if he'll pop in at any point tonight. He was late to the stream kind of yesterday, and he popped in eventually. I'm really just curious how that went for him. Hope it went well. Hope it went well. I hope my advice was good. Relationship advice, not exactly my area of expertise, but let's see. I've always felt like this post-stream screen was kind of out of place a little bit. I don't know. The other ones are like futuristic, high-tech kind of stuff, and this one's kind of like a beach. A beach. Maybe we'll find a new one. Let's see if we can find a new one. Let's see if we can find a new one, maybe. I kind of like this one. I kind of like this one. This one's kind of good too. I don't know. Hard decision. See, that matches a little bit better. That matches a little bit better. I like the ninja in the BRB screen. My dude with the, my homie with the sword. Oh, we've got a cat in this one. Can you spot the cat? Can anybody spot the cat? Do you believe in aliens? I don't know, man. Like, this universe is so massive, beyond comprehension. And to think that we're the only ones in a universe that is literally beyond comprehension in scale and size just seems to me to be not a good choice. So I think I do. I think I do, just given the fact of the sheer size of this universe. I don't know. I don't think we are alone, chat. I guess that one's up to debate, Sanchez. Up for debate. You think so, Sky? Well, see, that's the thing, Sanchez. Is it a lightsaber or is it a sword? Because they do use like fancy glowing swords in a lot of this pixel art. So that's really the question here. Is it a lightsaber or is it a sword? Oh, I've been down that road before, Brian, and I'll tell you, the advice acceptance, you start to really live by it, you're going to change the way that your brain operates. Believe me, I've been down that road before, and I'm not there anymore. I didn't do anything special or crazy or out of the norm. I just used the same advice that I give you guys here in this stream, for example. That is true. That is true, Sanchez. You do have the tendency to see everything as Star Wars. I can't argue with you there. I have noticed. Even Christmas, I have noticed. You'll be surprised, dude. You'll be surprised at what does not trigger you anymore after you dedicate to this advice. Like there's nothing you got to do to figure it out. A lot of people, we talked about that in a stream just a couple of days ago. A lot of people think or assume I've got to figure this out in order for this to stop triggering me. And it's like, no. In fact, you trying to figure it out is not only pointless and useless, but it's what's keeping you in that situation because you're just hitting the alarm over and over. Stop trying to figure out and just live your life and let the triggers happen, and they'll stop triggering you eventually, and you'll be like, who the hell was I back then? I don't even recognize myself anymore. So the biggest false belief, and we did a whole stream on this, the biggest false belief with anxiety is that you have to figure these things out, these triggers, in order to get relief. But really, it's the opposite. All of your logic that you're trying to use is just hitting the alarm over and over. You're not doing what the brain needs to see in order to learn, which is live. Instead, you're trying to solve. So you're doing it backwards, right? You'll be absolutely surprised at who you become when you stop trying to do the solving and realize that you just need to live. It sounds too simple to be true, but if you stop trying to solve, which is getting you nowhere, it's just hitting the alarm, and you live instead while you're triggered, right? Now you're speaking the brain's language, and one day you're going to be like, holy shit, I did not have to solve my fear of death, for example, in order to feel better. I just had to let that trigger be there and live my life, and then my brain learned that it didn't deserve a trigger, and now I can think about that topic and it not bother me, right? So that's how it works. Super, super simple. Simple stuff, but we tend to overcomplicate it, and we tend to do it the other way around. We try to solve and stop living, which now you're just setting yourself up for a very stressful cycle. Your brain's not being taught anything, and, So basically, you got to flip it. You got to flip it around. You're absolutely right. Love you, Wonder Bro. You're the man. Gonna head out and continue living my life. Thanks for stopping by, Brian. I appreciate it, dude. I hope you have a great night. So you can definitely get rid of it if you make that choice, right? It's not, I'm not going to lie to you. It's not going to fall in your lap, right? But eventually, if you just get back into living and stop trying to solve, now you're speaking the brain's language. So super simple advice. I didn't say it was easy, but I said it was super simple, right? So I know the tendency to want to solve is strong. I know the habit to want to solve is strong, but that's just hitting the alarm over and over. There's no pathways available in your brain where your logic is going to turn your amygdala off. So let's say you're triggered over, we'll use tonight's example. Somebody said fear of death. Let's say you're triggered over the fear of death, and then you try to solve that. You get up in your head and try to fight with that trigger, blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that. You're not speaking the brain's language. Instead, you're just hitting the alarm. You're saying, danger, danger, danger. You're not living. You're in bed trying to solve. You're on the couch trying to solve. You're not living. Really, what's going to cure you is getting up off that couch, off that bed, and going and washing the dishes. That sounds weird, but you're showing the brain, right? You're showing the brain that the danger doesn't exist. You're not speaking the brain's language when you try to solve these triggers. You're not. The brain's not listening to your logic. You can sit and try to figure out and solve your trigger of the fear of death, for example, and the brain does not give two shits or a fuck about any of your logic. It's not going to say, okay, you've proven to me with your logic that this is not worthy of being a trigger, so I'm going to turn it off now. Doesn't work that way. Okay, but what does work is if the brain is triggered, stop trying to solve. That's useless. Get up and wash the dishes. So the brain says, okay, and that was just an example, of course. The brain says, wow, he's triggered over this, that, or the other, and he's just up washing the dishes. He's not in bed trying to solve, so there must not be a real tiger. Brain doesn't care what you're triggered over, does not give a shit what you're triggered over, does not give a shit about your logic. If it sees you laying in bed trying to solve it instead of living your life, then the brain's going to say, okay, well, I guess there is a real tiger attached to that thought, right? So brain speaks behaviors, aka live your life. Brain does not speak logic. And that's why the two main keys, do you see why the two main keys are what they are now? Live your life, stop fighting with the thoughts and feelings. Now you're speaking the brain's language. Now you're speaking the brain's language. Whatever you decide to do, if anxiety wakes you up in the middle of the night, right, and you want to sit there and lay there and worry about it, you're not speaking the brain's language. Instead, if you just want to either try to go back to sleep, relax, or put on a movie or whatever you decide to do, see, we got to do the opposite of trying to solve and start living. That's the brain's language. That is the brain's language. Oh yeah, the stream, yesterday's stream was amazing. So it's a different lifestyle, man. You're taking on a different lifestyle. You're not resorting to all the same crap you've been doing with the coping methods and compulsions and trying to solve and all this and that. You're taking on a whole new lifestyle. You want different results, you got to move differently. People spend their lives doing the same thing each day over and over. Compulsions, coping methods, trying to solve, run into the same corner every time they're anxious. You want different results, man. You got to start to move differently. You can't be in Groundhog's Day here. You can't have Groundhog's Day where every time you're anxious, you run to the same corner. Every time you're anxious, you try to solve. Every time you're anxious, it's that same coping method. Every time you're anxious, you want something different, you got to move different. I'm not saying you got to pack your day full of crap and climb Mount Everest, but you just got to start to move differently. Drop the compulsions, drop the coping methods. Of course, go at your own pace, right? Go at your own pace, but you got to start mixing things up a bit. You got to start doing things in a different way. If you want to send a new message, because apparently the message you're sending right now is not one that's getting you the results that you want. So we got to send a new message. We got to start to behave and be a person that's in line with someone who's not in danger. You're not in danger, but you got to behave that way so the brain can learn, right? So we did a YouTube short, or maybe it was a TikTok on that once, where basically we just said in the sum of like 50 seconds, hey, look, here's the deal, short, quick, and to the point. You want different results, you got to move different, right? You want different results, there's got to be different actions, different results. You can't sit around and think about this thing. You got to get going. Thank you, by the way. Absolutely, no problem, dude. Loved yesterday's stream. It was a good one, man. It was. Tonight's been a pretty chill stream too. I enjoyed tonight as well. Yeah, I'm still in the early days of change, but early days can quickly become fast healing. I mean, they can, right? Like, there's no timeline here. There's not like a set in stone time frame on this sort of thing. It's, as soon as you start making different choices and you stop trying to solve, because now we've explained very clearly that's not going to work. So you stop trying to solve, which is just hitting the alarm over and over, and you start moving differently. You start doing different things while you're triggered instead of coping methods, instead of compulsions. You have a productive day, right? Again, doesn't mean you have to climb Mount Everest, but you start to move differently, you start to get different results. So, for example, instead of spending 6 hours on the couch today trying to solve your triggers, today you took out the trash and washed the dishes and watched a movie. I don't know, right? See, we're not saying you got to do great, amazing things. We're just simply saying that you do things differently. When you're triggered, you don't do things that tell the brain, hey, I'm in danger, look at me using all these coping methods and compulsions and trying to solve, and instead you're saying, hey, look at me, do the dishes. Right? I literally got anxiety from one panic attack. Well, let me actually explain what happened here. So you didn't get anxiety from one panic attack. You had one panic attack, then you started to freak out and try to solve your feelings and start to worry about that panic attack. And now you got into the solving mode, which is just hitting the alarm over and over. You probably cut back on living and started developing sort of coping methods, right? This is what happened. This is the transcript of events here. So it seems like, okay, I got one panic attack and now I've never been the same since. Well, no, what really happened was you got one panic attack, started to try to solve, worry, figure out all your thoughts, and oh my God, what just happened? And you're starting to worry each day even more. You're starting to pick up coping methods. You're not living like you used to live. So what really happened was this whole transcript of events, right? You're not wrong though. A lot of people do start there, but yeah, it is a whole actual list of events where you started to just try to solve and worry more and stopped living as much, right? So really, that's what happened. All right, excuse me, Nova. I got to get up and get a drink here. I'm starting to get dry mouth. Absolutely, yeah. I went to Dr. Google. Trust me, dude. I know this cycle, man, and I don't think I've ever seen you comment here before. You might be new. Um, I know this cycle like the back of my hand. It's all the same. People experience different symptoms, yeah, sure, but at the end of the day, it's all the same reason. So people start trying to use their intellect and fight their way out of this with their thoughts, with their thinking, trying to solve, aka, which is basically just a form of worry at the end of the day. Not accomplishing anything, the brain's not listening, it just keeps sounding the alarm. Instead, they need to be up and living. They need to accept that they're triggered, and instead of trying to solve the trigger, they need to just live their way out of it instead of trying to solve their way out of it. So different symptoms from person to person, sure, but it's all the same cause at the end of the day. I mean, everybody in chat right now, I want you to be honest, right? I want a show of hands. Since you developed this sort of anxious lifestyle, I want you to think really hard about the way that you used to live before all this crap to the way that you live now. And you tell me, and again, you can go at your own pace, but you tell me, every time you're anxious, do you do all these compulsions and coping methods? Do you stop living as much? Do you start trying to solve? Every single one of you are going to say yes to that, right? You want to feel like you used to feel, you got to live like you used to live, right? And again, you can go at your own pace. I understand this crap doesn't happen overnight, but you want to feel like you used to feel, you got to live like you used to live. Stop trying to solve. That's not working. It's just sounding the alarm over and over. Get back into living. Right? At your own pace, get back into living. Of course, hearing this advice is one thing, actually using it is another. Well, the amygdala will start to calm down is a better way to put that. The amygdala will start to calm down, and these triggers, these sensitized nerves, they will heal. Your brain will start to operate in line with a calm, healed brain, right? So these triggers will handle themselves, but it does require being triggered, accepting that you're triggered, not trying to figure out and solve. That doesn't work, but instead just living through being triggered, not huddled up in the corner, which requires you making different choices. Essentially, you're breaking bad habits. Essentially, you're breaking bad habits in your lifestyle, right? It's basically what you're doing here at the end of the day. And that takes repeated dedication. It does get easier in time, but it does take repeated dedication. Starting to move in a new way, man. Starting to live differently, get different results. You can't be stuck in Groundhog's Day.
Donation.
Terry, my man. Holy shit, Terry coming in by himself, dude, and saying, you know what? We're going to 94 days. Terry, thank you so much, dude. I want a big round of applause in chat right now from my boy Terry. Thank you so much. I want to see those emojis, man. Kate says, don't forget to like the stream. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Terry, dude. I appreciate you. Moving on to 94 days. Hello, Wonder Bro. Quite an entrance you got there, Terry. Quite an entrance, if I must say so myself. Thank you so much for that, dude. I really appreciate all you do, man. I'm not trying to get all sappy on you, but really, Terry is one of my biggest supporters here. So if we could show him some love in the chat, man, he helps keep the show on the road. I really do appreciate it, Terry, so much. So we should show him all the love in the world, dude. We really should. We really should. That's really the only thing I push here on this channel. I stay in your guys' face about that. I'm not trying to be annoying, but it only takes 2 seconds to show some gratitude to our tippers, right? And if it wasn't for them, man, it would be hard to keep this show on the road. So we should show them all the love, and it only takes 2 seconds to put some emojis, to put a thank you, whatever, right? So not trying to be annoying about that, but it doesn't cost you a dime to show gratitude, man. So far, my intrusive thoughts don't bug me anymore. Keep going, Pooty. You've been on the right track for a long time now, dude, and you're just tying up those loose ends, man. You're just tying up those loose ends. Keep living, because that's important. That's the important part of the process, man. Keep living. That's the brain. That's the language, that the brain speaks, and stop trying to solve, because there's nothing to solve. You can't solve your way out of being triggered. You got to live your way out of being triggered. Behaviors is the language of the brain, my friend. Behaviors. Coping methods got to go. Compulsions got to go. Life's got to be lived. Stop trying to solve your way out of anxiety. Live your way out of anxiety. Some people say, well, I still live, Wonder Bro. Yeah, but you're still trying to solve. So every time you're up in your head worried, hitting the alarm, we've got 2 keys for a reason. Every time you're up in your head worried, trying to solve, you're going to remind yourself, oh, right, there's 2 keys for a reason. I got to live, yes, but I've also got to remind myself while I'm worried that's pointless. Wonder Bro told me the pathways aren't available. You can't logic your way out of being triggered. You just have to accept it. So there's 2 keys for a reason. Yes, you got to live your life and choose different actions rather than coping methods and compulsions. But you also got to remind yourself when you're worried, hey, Wonder Bro said there's no point in this. I can't worry my way out of being triggered. Got to accept it and live. 2 keys for a reason, right? 2 keys for a reason. If we only had 1 key, okay, but we've got 2 keys and we've got them for a reason, right? So many people come to me and say, yeah, but I'm still living and I'm still anxious. Yeah, because you keep trying to solve your way out of being triggered. Living your life, yes, behaviors show your brain that all is well, but when you're up in your head worried, you got to remind yourself, okay, I got to drop all this extra worry and remind myself that I don't need to figure these triggers out. Logic's not going to help me here. Wonder Bros said I can't reason my way out of these triggers. I just got to show my brain out of these triggers with living my life. 2 keys for a reason. 2 keys for a reason. Stop fighting with the thoughts and feelings. Remind yourself there's no way to reason yourself out of a trigger. Accept it and live your life. 2 main keys for a reason. Keep it up, Pootie. You know, ups and downs, they happen. I don't really, I don't call them ups and downs a whole lot. I like to say training days, dude. Because if you look at them that way, that's what they are. Absolutely. Thank you again, Terry. I just got off work, ready for a day off. You deserve it, dude. You deserve it, my man. Take it easy, relax, kick your feet up, enjoy it. What do you guys think of the music choice for tonight? This is not a playlist that we've ever used here before on the channel, and it matches the theme of the stream. We've got like this neon, pixel, futuristic style to the stream, and we're listening to synth waves, so everything kind of matches. Hey, but it's viewer choice, man. I don't want to. If you guys aren't feeling it, we'll choose some other music. But I think it's pretty chill. Wonder Bro, what is it called? Let's see. It's called 2-Hour Synthwave Mix LA Sunset is the name of this music playlist. Synth Mix LA Sunset. Everyone who sees my stream theme is probably thinking purple, neon, pixel, futuristic. This dude probably loves Cyberpunk. I've never played Cyberpunk. I heard it was a buggy mess. I just really enjoy this art style. I like the whole futuristic synthwave thing. I like that, Kate. Kate dropping the big boy quotes tonight. Feet are kicked up watching Ancient Aliens while eating Ruffles with French onion dip. Life is good. Hey, I love to hear it, Terry. You deserve it, man. You deserve it. Enjoy it. You know what else this music reminds me of? Who's ever watched the show Stranger Things? It's actually, it's got to be my favorite TV or show series, Netflix series of all time. Gives me Stranger Things vibes. And that's serious, man. That's some serious business because I don't watch miniseries. So if I say something is good, it's good. It's good, okay? Take my word for it. It's funny, it's action, it's everything. It's sad, it's just everything. Best series I've ever watched. And I'm so pumped, man. I'm so pumped because the new season is coming out this year, dude. I'm ready. I'm fucking ready. I'm fucking ready. I'd rather a full bottom in front of me than a full frontal lobotomy. Interesting. Interesting. Kate, I gotta say, normally I agree with you, but I've seen Napoleon Dynamite. I don't know where you're getting that. I gotta disagree with you on this one. I have to. I've got no choice. Napoleon Dynamite, though, I will say, great movie. Great movie. You remind me a lot of Napoleon, actually. Kidding. I was into Stranger Things, but I've drifted away from it. It's so good, dude. It's so fucking good. Hey, up to you, Terry, but personally, man, I love it. I love it. Vote for Pedro. It's funny Kate mentioned Napoleon Dynamite. I actually just rewatched that movie not long ago, a couple months ago. It's one of my favorite movies as a kid. It's hard to believe it's been that long since that movie came out. Time flies, man. Why you waiting around on your recovery? Yeah, the amount of time it takes to release between seasons can be pretty annoying. Because I mean, you got to go back and rewatch everything, or else you're not, not everything's gonna click. So I had to do that with Stranger Things. I just rewatched it, kinda. I skipped around a little bit, but I had to get the gist of it again for the new one coming out. All right, man. All right, we just passed that 1 hour mark, chat. We're going to go ahead and wind it down here. It has been an awesome stream. I've enjoyed a very chill stream, man. I've enjoyed just chatting with you guys tonight. Like I always say, hopefully, not only did you enjoy the stream, but hopefully you use it, because that's what ultimately is going to make the difference tonight, guys. If you turn off this stream and you don't live differently, you go right back to bed on Dr. Google, you go right back to bed and try to solve your triggers, you're not moving different, you're not acting different, it's going to be hard for change to happen, right? So not only do I hope you enjoyed the stream, but most importantly, I hope you use the stream, right? So thank you guys for an excellent stream tonight. I appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and get our song ready. Got to go ahead and get our song ready. This definitely was a song-worthy stream. So Tina, eat your food. Yes. The llama. Who doesn't love the llama in Napoleon Dynamite? Anyway, guys, I love you guys. I'm sure I'll see you all very, very, very soon. And until next time, as always,
Donations.
Sanchez. All right. What better way? What better way to end the stream than that right there? Sanchez rounding us up to a 69, man. Mr. 69er in the house, right? I love you guys. I love you so much, Terry, Sanchez, all of you beautiful people for watching, man. You guys are amazing. You guys are amazing, okay? Did you ever have feelings you feel like you never got answers to, but once you genuinely accepted, you didn't care afterwards? That's what it's all about, but you got to prove that to yourself. You got to stop trying to solve and move in a different way. That's how the brain learns. It doesn't listen to your logic. It only listens to how you're living your life. So you got to drop the solving when you're worried. Remind yourself there ain't nothing to solve. My brain's not listening anyway. And go have a productive day. That's how the brain learns. I'll see you guys all very, very soon. I love you. Thank you for an excellent stream. And until next time, as always, stay awesome. Kate, you are ridiculous for that comment, but you're also not wrong. You're not wrong. I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die. Won't die. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? My aunt think I'm perfect, I know I'm not. My mama be worried, I told her stop. They know I did drugs and think that I'm off. Little do they know I never could stop. My manager hate when I'm pulling up late. Back on my bullshit, she think it's a phase. I got relations I gotta maintain. I'm two different people, my side and my main. Yeah, I'm sober, I'm an addict. I'm a low life, I got habits, but I refuse to be average. Really so tired of acting. Don't know what I miss no more. Too bad you don't hit me more. I'm bad when I get too bored. Careful what you wishing for. I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die. No. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die. Won't die. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger.